Hello and welcome to coverage of custom standard casual matches. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching a match between Zarepath, who is on Bant Redistricting combo, and Lincoln, who is on Blue-Black Graveyard, essentially. So Zarepath's deck is basically focused on the combo of get out, protect the farm, or a landfall creature like Splashback Elemental, get a fetch in the graveyard like Sending Spires, have Redistricting or Splinter of Creation on the board, both of which are cards which let you play lands from your graveyard, and have Absurd Burgeoning or Contour of Bounty. So basically, that combo altogether, what it does is it gives you infinite landfall triggers, which either creates infinite tokens, or makes an infinitely large Splashback Elemental, or gains you infinite life in State of Affairs. Zarepath's deck looks to be taking like a little bit more mid-rangey approach to it. I think the cards themselves are already like reasonably mid-rangey, but Taken for Questioning to me feels like something that you wouldn't play in like a straight Redistricting combo deck. It's probably like playing Talia Cyber Wayfarer, who what's Taken for who basically turns this O-Ring into a Vindicate, and is just really good with multitudes of cards in this deck. So meanwhile, Lincoln had to mulligan to 6. Unfortunately, has a blue-black card here, but only has all swamps. And Lincoln had to mulligan to 5. Oh no, this is a problem. Having turn 2 Inish 2 is fine though. Like I think Inish 2 and then play Phantom Walker, and then have the ability to just like mill creatures into crew Phantom Walker. It's not super ideal in this matchup, but let's see. Meanwhile, Zarepath is just going to play the Vibrant Locale and pass. Doesn't have an untapped land turn 1 to be able to play State of Affairs. So yeah, Lincoln's going to play the Initiative and pass. On end, Zarepath cracks the fetch, probably finding a green X land, yeah. Sunlit Plaza, untap, cast State of Affairs, yep. And then probably, I don't know whether Zarepath wants to play Ascending Spires or Tropical Channels. Both of them, I think, are essentially going to function as I can cast to protect the farm next turn. Or I guess that this gives Zarepath versatility because Zarepath can cast Splashback Elemental next turn as well. Though I do think if you're Zarepath, you would play Tropical Channel, cast Protect the Farm, and then next turn play Splashback Elemental and then have 2 fetches to be able to get like more landfall triggers. Anyways, on the other side of the table, Lincoln is going to cast Phantom Walker and then attack with Initiative. Milling another land. Yeah, Lincoln really wants to be hitting gas here. Oracle's Ploy is a good way to be able to kill the Splashback Elemental before it like causes trouble. But yeah, Zarepath's going to tap out for Protect the Farm. And God, triple fetches. That means like starting next turn. Oh, interesting. Playing the fetch now. But yeah, starting next turn. Oh, I guess playing a land anyways just to get a soul token. But yeah, starting next turn, Zarepath gets like insane landfall triggers. So I don't know if Lincoln will be able to match the value from that. Banish does help a lot though, because it can just nuke. It can either like kill all of Zarepath's soldiers and function as a wipe, or if Zarepath taps out for Splashback Elemental next turn, it just like rips all copies of it out of Zarepath's deck. So Lincoln going to attack with Initiative again. So Lincoln ends up milling Nightwater Terror. It does give access to crewing Phantom Walker next turn. But I guess Lincoln did say that it is a hard one because you do want gas for you want to be able to draw into gas. But I think Lincoln's thought is pretty content with the board presence right now, has interaction, wants to be able to turn on this Phantom Walker so he can put on the clock and play like kind of a tempo game. Anyways, on end step, Zarepath cracks his Sending Spires to get another soldier, basically. And yep, tapping out for Splashback Elemental. And probably playing a fetch. Makes sense. And playing a fetch here is good because actually what happens is, in response to Oracle's ploy, Zarepath can crack the fetch and turn it into a 4/4. So this forces Lincoln to use Banish on Splashback Elemental, which I think he would do anyways because Splashback Elemental is a scary card and you don't want your opponent to have like any of it. But taking Banish out of Zarepath or out of Lincoln's hand makes answering the soldiers much harder. But no, Lincoln's gonna Oracle's ploy on Splashback. That's a huge misplay because now, yeah, Zarepath can crack the fetch in response in order to keep Splashback alive. Of course, it's now down to a 1/1, but still scary nonetheless. Yeah, I think Lincoln might want to save the banish for the soldier tokens to be able to have like an alpha strike or something. I don't know. I don't know. Like now it becomes a lot harder because having Oracle's ploy up for something else was just nice, and if Zarepath draws into nothing, I wonder if Zarepath will get greedy and like taken for questioning the Oracle's ploy. We'll probably just take it for questioning one of Lincoln's creatures next turn, and has a bunch of lands to just keep growing his board and Splashback Elemental. Meanwhile, Lincoln is going to exile Nightwater Terror in order to crew Phantom Walker and swing for 6. I think Zarepath probably is content triple blocking Initiative 2 and killing. No blocks? Okay. I'm surprised by that because I feel like Zarepath is going to be generating enough soldiers here that it doesn't, that like you just want to, and like Lincoln only has one card in hand. So just killing Initiative 2 here would probably be like a better play, and then having taken for questing on Phantom Walker next turn, and then Lincoln's just without a board. Hell, even saving the taken for questing for something else would be good, because Phantom Walker, like without any way to mill himself, Phantom Walker is just dead on board. Ooh, some draws into Talia. And Talia can exile lands. For some reason I thought it was an online permanent, but being able to exile lands is really strong in this deck because it means that Zarepath can start like flickering his own lands in order to repeatedly turn on landfall. Won't have the ability to cast both Taken for Questioning and Talia this turn though. Again, I really feel like Zarepath should have triple block next turn. That would really have made combat next turn like, I guess, or maybe like Zarepath's thought was, I don't want Lincoln to have another thing in graveyard to crew Phantom Walker, but then you just Taken for questioning it. Anyways, gonna flicker the Tropical Channel. Actually, wait, did Zarepath play a land this turn? If not, if Zarepath had like flickered Lakeside Park instead, could have played Tropical Channel and then had a 1 white to be able to cast Taken for questioning on something. But no, just gonna swing out with Splashback Elemental, I guess. Oh no, Splashback Elemental and all the existing soldiers. I guess that I didn't realize that the Protect the Farm creates Vigilant Soldiers. That's actually really cool. Does Zarepath have a way to kill Lincoln next turn? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So swings for just on the face of it, Zarepath will be able to swing for 12 next turn, even without using Protect the Farm's buff, which, definitely will be able to do. But Banish on the soldier. Banish on Talia, which, it works, but also not when Zarepath has, such a huge board. I guess we get a little peek into Zarepath's deck here. 1 copy of Contra Bounty, probably for the combo. 4 Redistricting. I'm surprised about all the State of Affairs. But I guess since it cantrips, it's fine. Taken for questioning as interaction. You've got 3 copies of Talia for just straight value. 4 Wander the Unknown because having instant Pete interaction is super important. And then 3 Zulav Rights. Because, being able to tutor up your infinite combo, pretty good. Yeah, Lincoln just goes to end. Doesn't have a way to crew Phantom Walker. So can only block 1 soldier. So Zarepath can definitely kill Lincoln here. Just play a land, use Protect the Farm to buff everything, and then just swing out for lethal. I guess is deciding just to swing with everything first, and then if Lincoln blocks with an Ish-2, can just crack Protect the Farm and just win. And yeah, Lincoln realizes that, concedes. And without sideboards, I don't know if much is going to change in game 2, you know? Because Lincoln really needs like a consistent stretch of strong interaction for Zarepath's board. And doesn't really have a way to deal with Protect the Farm once it's resolved. That's the perils of being in a blue-black deck, really. You only have hand attack to deal with that kind of stuff. And I don't think Lincoln has any hand attack main board. So let's look at these opening hands. Lincoln has a 3-lander, has Banish if he draws into another land, has 2 creatures on 3 that can maybe do something. A backdoor can recur Banish if need be. So it's a pretty solid hand, as long as Lincoln draws into, like, let's say, 2 more lands. On Zarepath's side of the table, I don't think if Zarepath has decided whether or not to keep, but I guess just decides to go with it. Has triple fetch, and I think probably just gonna play State of Affairs next turn. Splashback Elemental lines up really badly against the Spanish. And then Taken for Questioning is a removal for one of Lincoln's threats. But since Lincoln has 2 and has the ability to recur Banish, I think that this puts Zarepath in a bad position. Especially because he has no protection for Splashback. And you have to play State of Affairs and passes. Lincoln draws, so that's 4 lands, so we'll be able to cast Banish on curve in response to Splashback Elemental. And this turn is tapping out. I think for Wandering Necromancer makes more sense. No, okay, Nightwater Terror. I don't agree with this. Wandering Necromancer blocks better and also enables you to start self-milling on upkeep. Anyway, so Zarepath is going to tap out for Splashback, and I think in response, Lincoln just untaps, Windmill slams Mana Confluence into Banish, and just yeets. Well, I guess Umbra Steps also works. And no, tapping for Wandering Necromancer. What is Lincoln doing? I don't. When you're up on board, and you know that like that's basically Zarepath's like 1 win con, and you have a backdoor to recur it to be able to kill a Talia if you need to. I don't see any sense in like not just banishing it just straight away, especially because then you can attack for 1, which 1 is 1 damage, but it enables you to start putting pressure on Zarepath and force him onto the back foot. Just playing another creature and passing gives him like more time to assemble stuff, put stuff together. Now that he's played a land, he can swing at you for 3, stuff like that. Or I guess 4, since Zarepath played a fetch land. And then Zarepath Druid has Wander the Unknown to remove, and like Taken for Questioning, Wander the Unknown, both solid removal spells for Lincoln's creatures, and has Zulav Rights to be able to tutor up Protect the Farm or Redistricting, basically just like tutor up one of the combo pieces if he happens to draw into one of them. So I'm going to swing out for 4 with Splashback Elemental, and then pass. I hope eating that 4 convinces Lincoln to be like, maybe Splashback is a threat I should banish. You're right. So on upkeep, milling 2 with Wandering Necromancer, hitting Tradition, and Matt Harden. So that is 1 creature, so Nightwater Terror becomes a 2/2. Okay, so yeah, now you cast Banish on Splashback Elemental. Yep. And Zarepath doesn't really have a way to protect against this. Zarepath says, okay, I guess in response, Wander the Unknown. Oh, Wander the Unknown, his own Splashback. That's a really smart play. Because this way it lets Zarepath basically blank Banish so that Lincoln doesn't get hand information, doesn't get to rip the other copies, and it allows Zarepath to ramp. Also why Lincoln should have cast Banish last turn, when Zarepath was tapped out. Now, it's still in Lincoln's favor here, despite Zarepath's high life total, because Lincoln just has board presence. I think, depending, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, can't Zul have rights for Contra of Bounty, but I think having Zul of rights here probably gives access to, like, let's say, protect the farm, play Ascending Spires, crack Ascending Spires, have 2 1/1s, be able to block this Nightwater Terror unless Wandering Necromancer mills another creature. So, Sylvan Ritualist, kind of not what you want to be seeing here, I feel like, but it's still okay. Okay, so going to Zul of rights for maybe another Taken for Questioning. No, protect the farm. Yeah, and then it's going to play the Ascending Spires, make 2 1/1 soldiers. And then tap for Sylvan Ritualist. Yep. And actually, now that I think about Sylvan Ritualist, is really good with soldier tokens, because it basically makes all of them into mana dorks. And with Vigilance, they can attack, and then main 2, you can like cast something. So Zarepath doesn't exactly have like, has lots of mana but not much to do with it. But I can see Sylvan Ritualist being really good in this deck. Meanwhile, Lincoln mills 2 swamps with the Wandering Necromancer. Really not what you want to see. But draws into another Banish, which, I think is a way to keep the soldier tokens in check if the board ever becomes too wide. But yeah, I think just cast another Wandering Necromancer. Lincoln might not want to swing with his Nightwater Terror. Okay, you know what? Right as I say that. Because Zarepath can trade with it. But no, okay, Zarepath's going no blocks. Because Zarepath has a high enough life total. Ooh, and double Taken for Questioning. So, yeah, I guess really can, and I guess it's going to cantrip the State of Affairs. Cantrip again. Ooh, this is just spicy. So you probably play Protect the Farm. Oh, no, actually, Protect the Farm is useless here. So, or just Protect the Farm. Is there a line where Zarepath can, like, crack both and then swing for a bunch? I don't think so. I could see just going, like, Taken for Questioning on the Wandering Necromancers, swing for 4. No? Okay, he's going to play Protect the Farm. I guess it's, like, hedging on being able to, like, draw into lands. And he's just going to Taken for Questioning one of the Wandering Necros? No, the Nightwater Terror. Interesting. I feel like Nightwater Terror is honestly, like, despite its name, the least terrifying thing on the board right now. Because sure, it's going to grow, but the Wandering Necromancers are what are fueling Lincoln's engine. And if you remove both of them, Lincoln has, like, no way, like, obviously Zarepath doesn't know about Lincoln's hand, but to Zarepath's knowledge, Lincoln has no way of milling anymore for Nightwater Terror to grow. And the Wandering Necromancers have 4 toughness, which means they can, like, basically block everything that Zarepath has. Meanwhile, Lincoln is going to mill Matt Harden, Mana Confluence, Oracle's Ploy, all of which are really only good if you have, well, Phantom Walker, or what's the name? Or if you have Tradition. So Phantom Walker is crewable here, because Lincoln has 2 Matt Hardens in grave. Taken for Questioning, Zarepath draws a Sylvan Ritualist. Taken for Questioning, probably. I think double Taken for Questioning is just good here. Just grabbing Phantom Walker and then a Wandering Necro, probably. And no, it casts Sylvan Ritualist instead. Okay. Actually, yeah, I guess if Zarepath's not planning to attack, he could just tap these 3. Okay, but I guess not. I don't know if I agree with these plays from Zarepath. Not gonna lie. So Lincoln milling Splinter of Creation, Backdoor, Shroud Collector, Umber Steps. I think the problem with Lincoln's deck is, like, how few cards actually do stuff from the grave. Like, there's lots of stuff which cares about recasting stuff from your grave, but if you don't have your enablers, then they just kind of sit there. I think, like, having some cards with the hollow mechanic, or like what was the Janata? Not not reincarnate. Whatever the Janata return from graveyard, or resurrect, that's the name, return from graveyard to battlefield mechanic. Just having stuff that can like work well from the graveyard. Like there are cards like that which fits well into a mid range shell. Like Throat Cutter is really good in like a mid range shell. Obviously, in like this kind of matchup where your opponent's going wide, it's less good. But in general, it's just a strong card. Then you have like Sewer Nibbler, who is just good in this deck in general, but also like just like it's good in this deck because it melts yourself, but it's also good in that you can like cast it from your grave. Anyways, while I was rambling on about that, Lincoln is going to cast Banish on the Sylvan Ritualist, which, clearing out two other cards from Zarepath's board. I kind of get this play because it gives hand information, but I almost wonder, because I feel like one of the scariest parts about Zarepath's deck is like the infinite combo, where like you get a bunch of soldiers, but Zarepath doesn't have a way to like haste out those soldiers. So if you just like pass to, oh no, actually, never mind, this was fine because Lincoln has a backdoor in hand, so can recast the Banish. So so just like playing it on the Sylvan Ritualist is perfectly fine. Oh yeah, so Lincoln, while I was looking away, Lincoln just attacked out with the Wandering Necromancers just to get in 2 damage. Redistricting. That is 1/2 the infinite combo. So I wonder if Zarepath will just try to play the fair game with it right now, like cast Redistricting, and then like play one of the fetch lands just to create 2 more soldiers. I feel like Zarepath should maybe not do that, but okay, Zarepath's going to do it. It also, I guess, thins Zarepath's deck, which makes it more likely to hit gas, which, is fine. I do feel that there's, like, no reason not to just take him for questioning a Wandering Necromancer right here. Like, honestly. Like, I'm trying to think of what's... maybe Zarepath's saving it for a tradition, actually, which would make sense. Oh, I forgot that Redistricting lets you grab 2 lands because it lets you play an additional land. So Zarepath does not just create 4. Oh, and I forgot that Zarepath has 2 Protect the Farms. I'm dumb. Cracking Redistricting was definitely the right play there. And is going to take it for questioning the Wandering Necromancer. And next turn has lethal on board with the soldiers. Hell, this turn alone, Zarepath swings out for 2. Next turn... Okay, Zarepath already swung out for 2. But next turn, Zarepath, just from the soldiers alone, swings out for 10 damage and can buff them with Protect the Farm. Lincoln does have backdoor into cast Banish, just to exile all these soldiers. I don't know if Lincoln will see that line, though. And no, by casting Initiative, Lincoln, it makes it seem like Lincoln has not seen that line. Because needs 5 mana to be able to cast backdoor plus Banish. Wait, says Lincoln in chat. I think he's gonna ask to take this back, and then yeah, he's gonna take it back and then backdoor into Banish. Yup, he figured it out. He got there. Here we go. All soldiers must die. Yeah, that's the problem with playing tokens against a deck that has Banish, man. That in the right situation, Banish just functions as a wipe. And Zarepath's entire board was threatening to kill Lincoln next turn, just gone. And Zarepath's now left empty-handed. Meanwhile, Lincoln can now start poking in with the Wandering Necromancers. And next turn can cast Initiative to, like, just have a faster clock. Of course, Zarepath top decking like another Redistricting. Oh, Zulev writes, what can Zarepath find with this? I guess with this much mana, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, can find Contra of Bounty, which can block and kill Wandering Necromancer. And then like just be a clock. Because Zarepath knows that Lincoln's last card in hand is Initiative, and therefore it'll be down to like a top deck versus top deck war. And in that match, Zarepath having like a 4/4 creature which can profitably block everything that Lincoln has is a pretty good idea. Or okay, fine. I guess grabbing Redistricting works too, because then you can make another like, God, what is it, 8 soldier tokens, and then threaten lethal next turn. Yeah, that's probably also like a more sustainable plan. Man, they must really like this farm. Like, I don't know about you, but like I've never been to a farm and been like, yes, I want to protect this with my life. Really love it. Like having that, like strong morale and spirit. Like, nah. You kidding me? It's a farm, for God's sake. Like, look at these guys. They're like fully kitted out. They've got the serious faces. I mean, the hat is kind of silly, but fashion differs from place to place. But still, I'm like, really? Anyways, Lincoln top decks into a land. I think keeping that up to pretend to have interaction was probably better than just playing it. But it will cast Initiative Desert Healer. So now let's see. And I think Zarepath held up the Vibrant Locale because it didn't matter to crack it on his turn. And cracking it on Lincoln's, or like he opened himself up to being banished again if he cracked it beforehand. But yeah, now he's going to crack it, get 4 more soldier tokens, and I think has lethal this turn. Ooh, and Italia. Youch. And I think Italia definitively seals it. It just attacks out, has enough mana to crack how many? Just 1 protect the farm? That still puts it to, let's say 2 get blocked. That's like 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, that's enough to kill Lincoln. That's enough to kill Lincoln. Because it ends up doing 18 damage. So good games to both players. Zarepath on Bant Redistricting combo takes it 2-0 over Lincoln on Blue-Black Graveyard.